Thanking our sponsors. You can see them here to my left. And the first one is the Essential Toolbox, whose owner is Cecilia Comparatori. She's an avid oil user and certified essential oils coach. She uses oils on a daily basis for relief and support. She has amazing do-it-yourself green cleaning recipes, and she loves to teach people how to use essential oils so that they can improve their health and wellness. And the other sponsor is Insights and Illuminations. Many may not know that I am the creator of Insights and Illuminations. I'm an internationally known spiritual teacher and conscious channel dedicated to inspiring and guiding others to live in harmony, healing, and peace through their awakening and ascension process. And again, my link's in the chat room as well. Thank you to the sponsors for the financial support of this event. This is the other hat I wear, which is I'm the founder of Spiritual Communities Network. It's a global community of teachers and seekers of spiritual growth with classes and events held virtually and locally. And to learn more about Spiritual Communities Network, hold on, I did not put that link in there. I'll pop that into the chat room as well. So if you want to visit our website and meet our members and what we're about and see what other classes and events we hold, it's a great place to go. So SpiritCon, today's our birthday. SCN's 11th birthday. 11 years ago, we launched Spiritual Community of Naples with an all-day event with the intention of strengthening the spiritual community consciousness. Since then, we've grown and have had spiritual teachers from all over the world supporting folks like you in your spiritual growth. Each year we gather for this online event to contribute to continue building spiritual community consciousness, not just in Naples, but worldwide. As we come together each year and hold space for spiritual support and awareness, we make it easier for the world to raise its collective consciousness. SpiritCon is given a theme each year, and the platform changes around a little bit. This year, we're focusing on numerology, this being our 11th year on 11/11/22. The platform will be a discussion by our panelists with breakout rooms at the end for questions and answers. It is my hope that you'll learn something new from numerology and have fun with it. Let's meet our panelists. First is Denise Flood. Denise Flood has over 35 years of learning and teaching energy work. She is the creator of the self-care program, Change Your Frequency, Change Your Life, that incorporates techniques like EFT, meditation, prayer work, essential oils, Reiki, and more to bring clients greater vitality and joy in life, both personally and professionally. She's been a member of SCN for 5 years and is a favorite in our community classroom. And our other panelist is John Maerz. Lawrence Maerz is an author, instructor, professional speaker, and coach with specializations in metaphysics and psychology. His extensive background in metaphysical disciplines includes astrology, tarot, numerology, I-Ching, energy work, martial arts, psychic development, and mediumship. He has been a member of SCN for 7 years, and his monthly astrology readings are favorites in the monthly newsletter. And for those who are not familiar with panel discussions, I will be asking our panelists questions on the topic of numerology, and they will share their insights regarding the questions. It is a discussion, and I think you'll have some fun with this topic. Welcome, John and Denise. How are you both today? Are you ready to begin?
Andy, thank you.
Denise, tell us, what is numerology to you and what makes you an expert on this?
Well, I'm going to start right off the bat and say I do not call myself an expert in numerology. I do call myself an expert in frequency work, which I think includes numerology. I am an amateur numerologist. I do work with my clients a bit with numerology, but it's more on what they're receiving. If they get certain numbers, or if they have certain reoccurring events, then we incorporate numerology. I got introduced to numerology, like maybe like a lot of people, with your birth date. And then learning about how those numbers, how those birth times work. And John could speak to this as much more than I can with astrology and the synchronicity of that. And then the angel numbers. That was kind of my first thing. And I think perhaps people in the audience will say, yes, every day I wake up at 3:33 a.m. or 4:44, or every time I look at the clock, it's 11:11, which then I think of Gwen. So for me, numerology is an integral part of my life, but it is something that I'm still learning about, which is why I'm excited to be part of the panel, because I like to know that we can start where we are and learn from each other.
Very good. Very good. So, John, same message back to you. What is numerology to you, and what makes you an expert?
Okay, at the risk of getting campy, I never was a pert, so I can't be an expert. But what I will say is that for me, numerology is simply a language to describe vibration. And in using numerology, it's a piece of just about every kind of work that I do, because it gives me a description of what kind of energy is being used, abused, or neglected. The numbers themselves, I also use them to connect astrology, tarot, numerology, I-Ching, because in using the numbers, I can cue in to each discipline and bring another kind of interpretation of what the vibration is all about. The health, the wealth, the timing, it's all about us paying attention, becoming aware, and listening to what the universe is giving to us in terms of numerology. You can look at the number on your house. You can look at your birth path. You can look at times. You can look at channels that you watch. Just about anything that contains any kind of numbers involved in it will give you a vibration and tell you how you're using or dealing with that tool or that connection that you're making. Colors even have vibrations also, and the color gives us a description, the math gives us a measurement, and astrology gives us the combination of both. And one of the things that I can say for everybody, if they're new to numerology, take your birthday, your month, your day, your year of birth, put them together in the form like a math problem. Then at the end of that, you add them up. All four numbers, for me, it was 1, 9, 7, and 8, came out to 25, and added again 2 and 5 and 7. So my birth path, or a major influence in my life, is going to be a 7. And it also comes from the number 25. So if you go to the I-Ching, you can look under number 25, and it talks about innocence. It talks about freshness. So any way you can look at numbers, it's going to bring you back to some kind of description, some kind of grounding that'll help you to understand what you're dealing with, or who or what is influencing your life.
Excellent. And I love that both of you tied the numbers into energy, okay? Because, you know, it is, everything's connected. Everything is at its base core vibration, you know, that higher level vibration that we're all a part of. So I love that you're both going to be talking from that perspective on it. And myself too, you know, I wouldn't call myself, air quotes, an expert on it, but I do use numerology throughout the course of the day. Not all the time. I don't make it dictate where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. But there's times when I feel, I think like John said, where if something, I can't seem to get a right answer, I'm questioning myself, I'll see numbers show up that I've over the years have noted as my universal wink. So, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't know if I should be doing this. And all of a sudden something will happen and these numbers will flash up, whether it's on the TV, on my odometer, on, a billboard, clock, whatever. And usually my universal wink is 3 ones, or 4 ones. So, yeah, so that's always, I love when that happens. It's such a great little thing there. So John, back to you. How do you use it in your day to day?
I just
Share
pay
a
attention
short
to-
story.
Okay, a short story. I just pay attention to what numbers come up. All I can say is that sometimes I'll wake up at the same number at the same time, and it'll give me a number like a 6 or something like that, or all the numbers will add up to a 6. And I'll just kind of think back, okay, what does 6 represent? And talks about decision, responsibilities, let's see, culture, family, things having to do with making decisions and values. So every number has its connection to some kind of viewpoint of life. So as I watch the numbers, something that reoccurs to me gives me the point of view that I should be perceiving or looking at my environment and what's happening with me.
Very good, very good. Do you have a short story of, maybe a memorable moment where your numbers kind of did something for you?
Jeez. Nothing of any major consequence. It's many, many, many small synchronicities that pull me in and kind of say, oh, this is what I should be paying attention to, or who or what I should be listening to. But there's anything specific that I can put my finger on.
Okay, sounds great. How about you, Denise? What do you have to share?
Well, I have to say that there are many moments, but the one moment, and it's a daily thing, is when I do see either 111 or 1111. I think of you, Sandra, Michelle, a group of women that we used to pause in our meeting at 1111 and tune in. And so even though it has been a year or two that since we've met in person, when I see that, my vibration automatically goes, oh, because I know there are other people around the world at that very moment that are tuning in to that beautiful 1111 energy. And it makes me feel like I am loved, I am grounded, I am centered, and I am connecting to all those beautiful lights and intentions around the world in that moment.
That's beautiful. I'm wondering if when your computer was going down, if it wasn't 111, you tuning into your powerful little energy there and throwing a kink in the technology works. I my introduction to it and how I shared, how I kind of use it during the day, but I kind of got introduced to it from my friend Sandra, who's here today. I remember I was doing something and she popped in for a visit and we were talking and I said, it's been the darndest thing. I've been waking up every morning at 12:34. And I had at the time what is it, an analog clock where it's the 1, 2, 3, 4. And every night, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, what is the deal? And she's like, she goes, it's a message. She goes, you need to figure out your message. And I said, what are you talking about? And she's like, the numbers. She goes, so that's how I got introduced to it. She referred me to a book that was on numbers. And when I looked it up, it was about keeping it simple. And I knew exactly what it was. I knew exactly what keep it simple had to do with. And as soon as the thing that was on my mind that I was tearing apart 8 different directions, as soon as I just kind of let it go and just said, I went back to sleep. And then I had to have a conversation with spirit about, okay, if you got a message to get to me, we have to do this in a different way, because waking me up at 12:34 when I'm half asleep is not what I want to do. So they communicate during the day now. So with their numbers. So
Can I
going back,
add something to your sequence?
sure.
The number 1, 2, 3, 4, I think or feel that your message was keep things in a sequence so you can see the pattern or the how the logical connection of the events. 1, 2, 3, 4 tells you stay in line, don't go off on tangents, stay along the pattern.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for throwing that in there, because yeah, it kind of boiled down to keeping it simple, right? Just keeping it
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4. Don't be shooting off and, well, what about 20 and what about 34? You know,
You'll get there.
just stay right here. And like I said, it helped that situation, and I got my sleep again once I realized what was going on. But it was interesting because it was a number of nights that I was going through that. So thanks, Sandra. So Denise, let's pop back over to you. Let's wrap this thing up with some nice big tips that you want to share on how somebody could start using numerology right now. You know, maybe touch back on something you've mentioned earlier or throw in something new.
Well, I'm going to say John touched on it. It is everything you see that is anything in this world is a message from spirit. And so if you are noticing numbers, pay attention to which ones they are. Start with simple, your name, the vibration you were given at birth. When you say your name, what presence, when you add up the numbers, because there's each letter in the alphabet is assigned a number. So you can add up your numbers and see what your soul vibration is, what your personality vibration is. There's so many different things. Pick just one thing to start with. I actually started with sacred geometry because John also, and you touched on this, the patterns in nature, the patterns in life. We are all a part of this huge, beautiful pattern. And how we can play with that, how we can pull meaning out of that. Also, when he was talking about color, the chakra systems, their color, they vibrate at a certain frequency. I do meditations. I listen to meditations. The number 528, that DNA repair meditation I have, it has specific numbers, mean specific they have a specific vibration that helps us stay aligned, that helps us heal and repair. So start with exactly where you are. Start with the simplest. I have a friend who said to me, I got the book Numerology for Dummies. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the perfect place to start. I have some of those. I took Spanish for Dummies, you know, but all those things, I don't see anything in the word dummy when you are learning. So I'm actually going to check the vibration of the word dummy when I get off of here. But start where you are. Start with following people like John, who has the expertise in that. Come and check out my Change Your Frequency, Change Your Life, because I tap on frequency, and even the tapping sequences have certain numbers. They relate to organs, which are on certain meridian lines. Everything is numbers. That's the ley lines of the earth. Oh my gosh, where do you live? Check the lines and see what energy holds for you. Maybe you have a different number and you would like to live someplace else. Check it out. Everything is vibration, and there's no wrong place to start. That's, I guess, my basic premise on life.
Well, that's beautiful. Thanks, Denise. What about you, Jen?
I have something very simple. Most people are interested in relationships. So what I would suggest is that if you have a close connection or are considering developing a close connection with someone, find out their birthday and do exactly what I just said before. Make it like a math problem, add it up, add the numbers up, and then the 2-digit and single-digit number you get at the end of this addition. This will tell you the vibration or the major focus that you're going to be paying attention to or needing to pay attention to with any relationship that you deal with. So if, for example, you're going to deal with somebody who's dealing with a 7, you'll be dealing with somebody who's dealing with nebulousness, with maybe unfocusedness or spirituality or artistic endeavors. Or if you have someone that is a number 8, you're dealing with organization and discipline and authority. Or you're dealing with number 1. This is somebody who's going to be teaching you about leadership, about being independent and doing things on your own. Any number or birth path that you get from a person around you, that's going to give you insight into what kind of vibration you're going to be dealing with and how it's going to affect you in your life.
Could I add something in there?
Sure.
I love that. And I actually have a chart that has the numbers up and across that you can see. But what I also tell people is it's just like when people go, oh, I pulled the card upside down. Just because you might come up with an incompatible energy, remember, or there's 2 sides to energy. Always know that things can be uplifted. Don't dismiss a relationship because you think, oh, I'm incompatible or they're the wrong sign. It's the same as they're the wrong number. I think that it is also behooves us to look within ourselves to the flip side, like, oh, they're a leader. What kind of leader? How do we raise that vibration up for ourselves, for our community, for the planet? Always looking at that next best level of what the universe truly, that vibration in unadulterated is supposed to be. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I really.
Oh, I think it makes
clarity.
perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
it makes perfect sense. In fact, I talk often to my groups about how contrast, we need that contrast, because if everything was vanilla ice cream, we'd have no way to know what vanilla ice cream tastes like. So the contrast comes in. So when anybody comes into your life that might not be exactly like you, or like you said, compatible in the numerology or whatever you're using, they often bring to the table something that you can learn from, something that can help you to become a bigger, better person, if you will. So perfect. I think that was wonderful, Denise. So Jim and Denise, do you guys have any final words before we move over to the drawing?
I would like to say that most people are concerned, based on what you just said before, and about seeing the flip side and seeing both sides of everything. Our whole life on this planet is about polarity and recognizing ourselves and seeing ourselves through the mirror of other people. And that when most people talk about soulmates, so many people think a soulmate is the most wonderful person coming into your life and make everything wonderful. It can happen, but your soulmate can also be your worst enemy, which really, really teaches you something about yourself that you may be either unwilling or unable to see. So all these numbers are always a mix of what you've got going for you and what it is you still need to pay attention to. So the polarity it's all about the polarity. How are you going to use it? Are you going to use it, or is it going to use you? Are you going to react, or are you going to be proactive?
Beautiful. So well said. Denise, any final words?
Final words. Happy birthday. What a pleasure and an honor it is to be on. And can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You're laughing. So I'm like, oh my gosh. and to have people celebrate something spiritual and precise, like numbers. Numbers are precise. And with that, many of you know I am a tapping person. So on my Tapping World Healing Cup is a grid, and I consider it the ley lines of the earth. So if everyone here would just picture where they are on the earth right now, I will consider that you are a spark of light and love, and I am sending that to this water, and I'm going to take a sip and send that light and love from my heart to yours, and a blessing to each and every one of us on Spirit Con's birthday.
Nazdrovia.
Well, now that you guys circled back to the whole birthday thing and us being 11 years old now, John, what's our numerology for 11/11/22 or our 11 years? Tell me, what's that mean?
I can give you pieces. 11 is if you look at it, it's two ones, it's two independences, it's two different perspectives working together. So it's a master number. Whenever you have any number that doubles, 11, 22, 33, 44, 66, 77, whatever it may be, the master number is a number that is a more subtle vibration of the root vibration. So it's coming from 11. So number 2, which is the base vibration, it's about cooperation. It's about allowing others to express themselves, to speak, to have an opinion, to share. And when we're able to do that, we can operate within the 11 vibration. So the 11 for this year means you've reached a pinnacle in communication that enables people to share and to work toward a much better understanding of themselves and their place in the world. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Now you're going to make me cry. You made me cry.
Reality always does that.
That open heart energy just pours out of my eyeballs. Well, between the beautiful energy Denise threw out to us and the blessing from John, I'll call it a blessing. And
it is.
I really appreciate all of you.
You should be proud.
Thank you. And I appreciate everybody who came out and joined us today for this event, because, celebrating our birthday with you is just, something I look forward to every year. So it's fun. I look forward to doing it again next year when we turn 12. And let's move into our drawing.